I'm here today with Oscar at Little Lawford Studios in beautiful Warwickshire countryside, not too far from Rugby, and he's going to take us around his lovely new facility that is about a month away from opening.
Yeah, hopefully going to open middle of next month. That's going to be August.
Brilliant.
2019.
So we're just stumbling past the accommodation block. Mike's ducking from trees that you'll see in shot, but he's doing very well walking backwards. So we're just passing the main studio building. Can you tell us a bit about the original usage of it, I guess, before you had it?
Yeah, so this brick-built barn was empty when we got here, and that was the main thing that attracted me to it, because it was a blank canvas.
Right.
So, yeah, we stripped out the mezzanine floor,
right,
and built room-in-room studio,
right.
Fully soundproof, fully treated.
Well, we're in what is your main live room, which has got a booth off it. Talk us through a little bit about the design ethics.
Right, yeah, so we've left the structure completely as it was.
Right.
There was a mezzanine floor in here that we cut out and then built a room here, and that's why the trussing is here.
Gotcha.
To support. The only other way we could have done it was to have pillars, which would have been a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
So we've had these trusses, but I think I'm going to wrap some fairy lights around it and make it a little bit more vibey.
Nice.
But yeah, the whole design ethic and approach was to make as big a live room as possible.
Yeah, great.
And try and go for that bands all playing together.
Brilliant
thing. And yeah, hopefully I've achieved that.
Well, it's lovely. I mean, it's natural daylight. As you'll see when we go into the control room, it's side-facing control room, which, as you know, we love. It's brilliant. I mean, there's plenty of space in here. It's sucked the drum kit into a corner. You've got a nice upright piano, loads of room for positioning a band, which is what you want to do. That's great. And it'll pick up on the various mics. Very lively, but in a warm way. We were just listening to some drums that he'd recorded a while back, and it just sounds fantastic. There's nothing nasty going on, and that's the biggest compliment you can pay a live room.
Right, yeah.
It's really good.
Well,
And who put this together?
This is all studio people.
Brilliant.
So, been really pleased with everything they've done. I know you guys have seen some of the other rooms.
Yeah.
Top guys.
No, brilliant.
Really happy.
So your piano, it's unusual to have an upright, or maybe not.
Well,
is the choice behind that just space? Something different?
Well, I was given it.
Oh, perfect.
And
it's
it's
a good choice.
Yeah. It was free.
Great.
So it's the best type of piano, right?
Yeah.
But nothing special. I think they like to call them character pianos.
Yeah.
It tucks neatly into the corner, and we've had a bit of fun. Recently got it tuned up, and we used it on a track recently. It does the job. I was going to ask you actually. We went for a spaced pair of ribbons here. I don't know how would you go about improving on that?
There's so many different ways you can do it, aren't there? I mean, XY above the head of the pianist.
Right.
We did a thing at another studio, Rimshot, in Sittingbourne. I think it's Sittingbourne, Paddock Wood, somewhere in Kent. And we had a bunch of different miking techniques, and they all had character.
Yeah.
One was a B&K above the head, one was a XY 414s above the hammers, and then there was a couple of 57s in the sound holes, and then there was a couple of 87s off the reflection of the lid. So they all do something. It's just kind of fitting it in a track.
Yeah.
It's one of those things, isn't it? But you've got the space and the sonics to really experiment. It's brilliant.
Yeah, we could wheel it out and play around. I guess it's time, isn't it? It's time and how the session's going. But yeah. Well,
the nice thing is it's a producer's playground. Which is what's really nice about it.
Yeah.
And this little booth is, I mean, again, I know when we were up at Joss's place, Distant City, who was studio people, they put a nice booth in. I mean, you call it a vocal booth, is this the right switch?
Yeah.
You call it a vocal booth, but it's much more than that. It's a great controlled environment. Obviously, great place to put amps.
Yeah.
But you can get so much in there, and hopefully the tambourine player, put him in there.
Yeah. Or a cocktail kit, like you said.
Yeah. Or a cocktail bar.
Cocktail bar. I like your thinking.
But yeah, I mean, it's so you've obviously, as you mentioned, you've gone for the whole band playing live, so you've gone for individual headphone monitor systems, which is hugely important.
Really pleased with that. That was an absolute fine, because we were going down the route of Avion, and we went down the route of Hearback.
Yeah.
And then I stumbled across these. A friend of mine said, "Let me try them."
Yeah, brilliant.
And for the money, honestly, it's the best thing we've got here. Invested in. I'm really happy with that. It's revolutionised.
Well, we had a lot of arguments with gear sluts on our forum about you can't possibly use the Behringer stuff because it breaks, and it's like, but if it's only 99 quid and I've got another 6 in the cupboard, it's better to have that. It's usable. It's actually really well designed system. It's very similar to the Avion. In terms of real control over stuff. I find certain other systems, which I won't mention, are a little bit more compromised.
Oh, right.
So you really are forced into a certain way of providing headphone mixes, and sometimes you can't give the artist exactly what they need. Whereas a real multi-input system like this is so important.
Yeah, no, that was a real, it's the best thing we've got, like I said.
Brilliant.
Yeah, it's really good fun.
That's good. So in terms of backline stuff, I mean, we've had a walk round, because this is beautiful property. You've got stuff everywhere. Presumably you've just built up over the years, and
lots of hoarding, lots of collecting, lots of broken things that have been repaired. There's a bit. Well, I think I've got 1 or 2 of everything.
Right.
But the idea being that an artist or a band could come here with nothing, and we could get something done. So there's a couple of 3 drum kits, a half decent bass rig, and 2 guitar amps, 3 guitar amps. I've got a little pig.
Right.
And some synths, piano,
Nice.
So that's it's not sort of blow you away gear, but it's good.
It's different and well maintained, because you're saying to me off camera you've got into this thing of like rebuilding stuff, and
there's a lot of modifications.
That's great.
So touch wood, it all works.
It's
first time.
really lovely. It's brilliant. Let's have a look at the control room. Let's show the good people. Oh, awesome. So, talk us through. You've made a flying in the face of modern thinking decision here to go with an old E-series.
I perversely bought an analog desk in bits from, it came out of the Bath Moles studio. It was a 56 channel console, and I bought the whole frame and 3 buckets, the centre section and the patch bay, and I cut it down, and then we've rebuilt it to 2 bays, 2 buckets, 16 channel, centre section and the patch bay, and I'm very pleased with it. It's been a labour of love, but it's interesting because it's got a lot of history as well. A lot of people have recorded on it. And you just don't see them a lot, although I thought that, and then you said you were down somewhere recently and they've got a 4K.
Oh yeah, there's another place in Oxfordshire, I think. Yeah.
Right, yeah.
They're sort of coming up a bit more. They're ridiculous. I don't have to tell you, they're ridiculously expensive to run, the big framed ones.
Right. Yeah.
But in this situation, you're talking about maximum. Well, I guess you were saying earlier with this little Neve sidecar.
Yeah.
You're talking about 32 inputs. That's pretty much. Probably enough for a drum kit.
Yeah, a couple of rooms.
Exactly.
Yeah, I was thinking, 32 is an ideal, manageable for this size. It all seems to slot in nicely.
Yeah.
And we've made a few changes to it all. It originally had the plasma bar graph upright meters, and Pete, who did all the work on this, Peter Higgs, said, ignore them, get rid of them. Problems, they break and they cost a fortune to run. So we happened to, they were breaking an MTR 90 at the time, and then we just went, have we got any VU meters? And they fitted in a treat. So
really nice.
So it's a nice little touch.
Yeah. Also, you've gone with the monitoring situation, which is great because you've got a room that has been well designed to be trustworthy. You've gone with some old Rogers LS58s.
That's right, yeah.
And you're putting work with your tech guy to really custom designing main monitors for the room, and we've had a listen, and I know the Focals really well, and it's like a really lovely main monitor. It's like harkening back to the old days where studios had custom monitors.
Brilliant, yeah.
And these sound great. And I know you've got some tweaking to do, but it's like immediately familiar, trustworthy, and it's something that I think people could learn from. Is like some of this old gear in a correctly designed room, monitors and speakers should sound good. You know, it shouldn't be, there shouldn't be this like massive learning process unless we're talking about NS10s, which are of a kind of, they do their thing.
They're hidden down there.
Yeah, hopefully that's where they'll stay.
Can you see them? Just on the right.
No, NS10s are great, but you have to know what they do. But it shouldn't be that difficult a process for speakers, you know.
Yeah.
So it's all about the room design for me. It's like people could spend a fortune on expensive monitors and still not attend to the room, and they're second guessing themselves. So yeah, it just felt great. It was, I mean, a testament against studio people. It's brilliant, lovely sounding room.
Great, yeah. I'm glad that you said that, because there's only a handful of people, there's 2 or 3 people have heard it, and for you to say that straight off the bat is really encouraging. Really nice. I'm really happy that you said that. It's cool. Yeah. And
you've again, it's like we did a thing down at Strong Room not so long ago, and everybody's it sort of feels like everybody's going for just a couple of bits of the right stuff again, instead of like loading up with stupidity. So you've got exactly you've got pairs of compressors, you've got some EQs and some older stuff that you can feed into. It's really nice. It's so refreshing.
There is a bit of stupidity, but I'm trying to.
I don't want to draw attention to
that. But I'm trying to tame my purchases and problem with Outboard, and get rid of the things I don't need.
Right.
But yeah, so far, touch wood, everything seems to have its place, and it's working nicely. And also, there's some really quirky stuff here that people will come in and go, "What on earth is that? Let's try it. If we've got the time, let's give that a go on the vocals. Let's give that a go on the bass." And that's what it's about, like you say, having to play.
Yeah. And you're set up to be able to do 5.1.
We are 5.1. I haven't got the rears in at the moment.
No.
But yeah, I've got 5.1 Audient controller there, so we can do that if we get any post work,
which is great.
Yeah. Well, when we designed the room, I said I might as well do it.
Yeah.
Peter was actually talking about doing Atmos, but I was like, oh God, he wanted to put stuff in the ceiling and stuff, and he didn't. I said, shall we? And then he was like, yes, we shall. And I was like, maybe not. And I noticed some RedNet stuff. So Dante's it's not even a brave decision anymore, but it's certainly a forward-thinking decision, given the scope of your property, and it's your home next door, and you built the other side of the live room, you're building accommodation, just finishing it. Again, it's pretty obvious to me why you've gone Dante, but... Well, yeah, so we were looking, as you know, we were looking at interfaces and converters, and there's just so much out there, isn't there? So much. And Focusrite, we were talking to them and we're looking at their products, and the RedNet just seemed to tick all the boxes. And then we expanded on the line 16 and put... once you plug the Dante into a switch, then it just opens up, and you can just keep adding onto it.
Yeah.
It is limited, obviously, but we're never going to go beyond 64 channels each way. And like you say, we can then put remote pre's in the main house. There's an exterior wall box, sort of garden wall box.
Right.
So if you want to put a band in the garden. You can.
Or you could get Bill Oddie up.
We could get Bill up.
Bird watching.
We could do that. We could do Spring Watch, 64 channons of it.
Nice. I was actually called Bill Oddie on a recent YouTube video. Sarcastic bastard. More like Bill Shoddy. But that's great.
We were really happy with it.
Good.
It's flexible and pretty intuitive. Plug in and go. And we can, like you were saying earlier, we can always hire things in, extra boxes, extra I/O. If the session dictates we need to go big, then we can. And
and that's opened up a load of stuff. I mean, I actually, and this isn't a plug for them, but I was using SSL System T the other week to do a broadcast, to a YouTube thing, and the preamps, they've got like a Dante 2U rack. They do loads, but they do these preamps that are just into a Dante switch, and it's unbelievable. The sonic quality is just stunning. So to be able to bring some extra stuff to augment, and just plug in an Ethernet cable and get some control over it, it's great.
That's the one thing I did go to town in, is putting Ethernet everywhere. So every room has got some Ethernet, and there's a patch room out there. And there's a bit of patch here as well. So that's extremely flexible and a hell of a lot cheaper than putting copper everywhere.
Because you're going to grow into this, aren't you? I mean, how long have you been here?
The studio, in
terms of, well, I kind of guess what's the growth of it been?
Well, it's taken a year to build, and we've been here for 3, and when it opens in August 2019.
That'll be last year when you see this. 14 months is the longest.
That's all right.
Except for the one where he lost the tapes. Sorry, Bob. Bob Marlette, Mono Valley. Just DV tapes disappeared.
15 years now.
Is it 15 years in the making?
Oh, right, it still hasn't got up.
Oh, he's lost the tapes.
Oh, bugger.
It was the first time ever. Well, there he was, digital tapes.
You'll have to go
He's
back.
going to leave this in as well, because I've seen Bob recently and he doesn't mind. That's brilliant. So anything really quirky? I mean, what's the quirkiest thing in here, would you say?
Those little Calrec tele distort modules that we were converted into mic pre's that are sort of down the bottom there.
You were saying you put the API...
Yes, it's got an API input transformer.
Right.
And then the Lundale output. So it's a real sort of Frankenstein thing. But it's interesting. Got a few of those, got a rack of those.
Yes.
And these are quite interesting. Have you ever come across these ferrographs? The ferrograph tape machines.
Right, are they like the input and output circuitry?
These badges here. Yes, they're the front of them. So the tape machine was like a huge, great big box, and that sat on the front. And then you could pick them up for next to nothing, really. And then with a little bit of modding, become quite a nice valve pre.
Cool.
And the top one, that 6A series, is really nice for as a nice DI. It's really nice. You know, just a cheap way of getting a classic, a vintage valve into your door, which is.
So one of the things I'm noticing, I mean, I see Pom, Pierre Olivier Marcon. So he's one of these people that is industry known, and what you seem to have done, which is hyper intelligent, is to go with people who are really, really good in their field. You've gone with a good studio designer, a great wiring and tech designer, and you're using a guy who knows outboard and equipment design. And I think that, you know, initially it's quite an expensive route to go, but long term, it's the support, isn't it? Hopefully these guys will be around in another 15, 20 years, and they can say, Oscar, what have you done? They can fix all my mistakes. But you're right. Yeah, no, Pom's a genius, and the guys at Studio People are brilliant. Yeah. And Pete did, they were all top guys, and they've had it up to here with me. I'm sure not. So, any other areas you want to show us?
We could go upstairs.
Look at that.
Let's go up and have a quick look up there.
Cool. So we're directly above the control room now, which is really nice use of lounge space. We can look down into the live room. Again, tie lines that you were talking about. Just useful, isn't it? You don't have to go mad with them, do you? It's just that ability to go, actually it'd be really cool to maybe come up here and do some editing. Oh, I've got something, let's fly it down.
Yes, you could do that, it's all networked up. We could put more I/O up here.
Yeah.
And it's got copper going down there. It's got speaker tie lines up here. Vocal in the toilet.
Very importantly out here, I mean, there's a shower room and is it a shower room, this one? So shower room and toilet.
There's a little wet room out there.
Little bar.
A
kitchen bar area. It's great. It's getting people to know that they can go out of the control room. When you don't want them. Which is hard sometimes.
It's
You've
difficult.
got to have that infrastructure.
And people need a downtime. Sort of chill out space.
That's brilliant. And this is all just one building, very self-contained. Actually, if you look through the live room back, you can see the accommodation block, which we can just, when we take you outside, we can have a look around the building.
Yeah, yeah.
And then look at your sheep. Every studio needs sheep.
Yeah.
So very much a work in progress, because
Yeah.
as you say, you're very close to opening, but what a beautiful little accommodation block.
Yeah. So aiming at back, well, anyone that wants to come and stay here really, but bands that are used to being in like a split bus, so you know, they don't mind sleeping on top of each other.
Yeah.
Not literally, but you know what I mean. So yeah, upstairs in the mezzanine there's 2 singles up there, and then we're going to have a sofa bed down here eventually. It folds out. And yeah, little kitchenette area, another shower.
Brilliant.
And and then a little patio bit for chilling out over there.
That's great.
With their own little private garden. There will be a barbecue eventually.
Nice. And you're right on the River Avon, which feeds into the house, which is a watermill.
Yeah. Just on the river.
Yeah, so there's you're sort of cut off, aren't you? There's a little island out the back that.
Yeah, there's a little river at the back.
Yeah.
Sort of paddock, sorry.
Yeah.
And a meadow next to it.
It's fantastic. It's so relaxing.
Yeah, it's a nice
We're
little
literally
chill
10
out.
minutes from Rugby Station.
Yeah, we're
is-
really close, but you don't feel like it.
No. So that's on the line from London up to Coventry, Birmingham and beyond.
That's it,
So
yeah.
very well positioned. It's
Yeah, no,
brilliant.
it's good. It's
It's lovely.
yeah. We want sort of artists to come here and feel like they've got something special, like a bit of a retreat that they can come and, you know, hanker down and do a bit of work.
Yeah, quite. Brilliant.